All right, welcome in everybody. Ready for another deep dive?
Always.
Buckle up, because today we're going deep into the world of school management software in England.
Sounds riveting.
Oh, it's more exciting than you might think. We're talking about those systems schools use every single day for everything. Attendance, grades, you name it. And as it turns out, it's a multi-million-pound market.
Yeah, not exactly the first thing that comes to mind when you think cutthroat business deals,
Yeah,
right?
right. But that's why we're here to uncover what's really going on. And we've got some juicy stuff to dig into, starting with a recent investigation by Schools Week that, well, let's just say it raised some eyebrows.
They really dug into these referral fees that some education technology companies are paying to local councils.
Yeah, these companies like Arbor Education, they're shelling out some serious cash. And in return, the councils recommend their systems to schools. We're talking over £10,000 to Buckinghamshire, over £11,000 to Nottingham over a couple of years. This isn't chump change.
And it makes you wonder, especially since these councils are often the ones giving schools advice on which systems to choose, right? So how unbiased can that advice really be?
Yeah, imagine you're a head teacher trying to navigate this whole tech landscape. You'd probably assume the council's looking out for your best interests. But if you're getting a financial kickback,
It just muddies the waters, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Even if everything's above board, there's that potential for, well, let's say influence.
now the councils are saying, hold on, hold on. They claim schools make their own decisions, and these fees just help offset budget cuts, supporting public services. But it does get you thinking, right?
Of course, transparency is key here. Are these arrangements clear to everyone involved? And even if there's no intentional wrongdoing, could there be, I don't know, some unconscious bias creeping into these recommendations?
And get this, Nottingham got another £20,000 as a rebate from a different company, ESS Sim. So this might be more common than we realize.
Definitely raises some questions. And speaking of questions, our next source is a court case between two big MIS providers. And let me tell you, it gets juicy.
School software. In court, it sounds crazy, but that's what happened with these two big MIS companies, Bromcom and, Arbor again.
It was a whole legal battle, went straight to the high court. And it shows just how competitive this market is, how badly these companies want those contracts.
Okay, so break it down for us. Who sued who and why?
So Bromcom, they sued this group of schools, United Learning Trust. They claimed that United Learning Trust ran an unfair process when they were picking a new MIS system. And, surprise, they thought the process favored Arbor.
Interesting. So what made them think the process was rigged? What was the evidence?
Here's the thing. Arbor was already doing the MIS stuff for 15 schools within United Learning Trust. They were what we call the incumbent provider. Bromcom said this gave Arbor an unfair edge.
So like they already had their foot in the door.
Exactly. And it gets better.
Yeah.
Court documents. They showed Arbor offered a rebate on their pricing to United Learning Trust, specifically because they were already serving those 15 schools.
A rebate? Hang on. So they basically offered a discount because they were already there. That doesn't sound very fair.
That's exactly what Bromcom said. They said this rebate, it let Arbor use their market position to, well, undercut competitors, like Bromcom themselves.
Yeah.
Basically saying, stick with us, it's cheaper and easier.
Just like those council referral fees we talked about, using money to influence decisions.
You got it. And the court agreed, actually. They ruled for Bromcom. Said the rebate broke procurement law and the process for getting bids. Unfair.
Wow, so it's a big deal. What happens now?
This case, it sets a precedent. Schools, councils, they have to be so careful about this financial stuff now. Everyone's watching to see if it's transparent, if it's fair, no more backroom deals or special discounts.
So we've gone from referral fees to a whole court case about rebates, and it's all about school software.
Wild, right? It really shows how much happens behind the scenes in a market that, honestly, most people don't even think twice about.
Yeah, and we can't forget, this isn't just about software contracts. This is about our schools.
Exactly. This is public money we're talking about here. Money that's supposed to be used for educational technology, the stuff that impacts students and teachers every day.
And what gets me is how much of this seems to happen under the radar. I mean, most parents, heck, even teachers, probably have no clue about these financial arrangements.
That's why we're doing this deep dive. We need more transparency. People need to know how these decisions are made.
Because shouldn't the goal be to find the absolute best tools for our schools, not just the ones that come with the biggest financial incentives?
100%. It should be about what students need, what teachers need, not backroom deals and financial pressure.
So what can we do? Where do we go from here?
Well, that Bromcom case, that's a good start. It sets a precedent, shows that these practices aren't okay. But we need to think bigger. Stricter rules for how schools buy software. Maybe even get educators more involved in the process.
And that's a great idea. They're the ones using it every day. After all, teachers and students, their voices need to be heard.
Absolutely. And hey, maybe, just maybe, this deep dive will get people talking, get them asking questions about how these decisions are made in their own communities.
It's certainly given me a lot to think about. Who knew school software could be this interesting?
It's all about knowing where to look. Sometimes the most everyday things have the most fascinating stories behind them.
Well said. And on that note, we'll leave you to ponder. This has been The Deep Dive, reminding you to always stay curious.